Hello friends! Today I will be sharing with you all of my cozy winter reads that are perfect to read by a crackling fire. Let's get cozy! Hi cozy friends, my name is Lexi and welcome back to my channel. Every single year I love to try to come out with a couple of different winter reads recommendation lists, and this year I thought it would be really fun to tailor a list just for people who want a cozy night in by their fireplace. One of my very favorite memories growing up was going to a winter lodge. My family and I would spend Christmases at this very specific winter lodge in the mountains, and my favorite part was actually going there and sitting by this really massive stone fireplace and reading all of my books. It was literally the highlight of every single Christmas, and this year I've been feeling very nostalgic and thinking a lot about those memories. And it got me thinking, what books would I pack if I was going back there and sitting by the fire on a cold, snowy day? And so these are all of the books. I have 13 titles to share with you today, and I have them divided into categories, so if you're interested just in one specific category, you can always just jump to that category. So the categories I'll be sharing with you today are cozy mysteries, Hallmark romance type books, because I feel like around this time of year, a cheesy romance by the Mistletoe is always something I want to reach for. The next one are going to be cozy and atmospheric fantasies that I recommend that all take place kind of like in the winter. And then finally, I have a small stack of classics that I recommend that all take place either in the winter or around Christmas. I've also tried to find a couple of different titles that I've never mentioned before in this channel, so hopefully, even if you are a longtime viewer, you will discover something new today. So with that, let's get started with the cozy mysteries. So the first book I'd like to share with you is Murder for Christmas, and this is by Francis Duncan. And this is considered an adult cozy mystery. You know what goes great with Christmas? Cookies, actually. Cookies would be the correct answer. I was gonna say murder, but no, murder does not go with Christmas at all. So this particular book is following a detective who is on holiday for Christmas, and he goes to a hotel where they are having a Christmas party. I love the next part though. It says, when midnight strikes, the partygoers discover that presents aren't the only things nestled under the tree. There's a dead body too. A dead body that bears a striking resemblance to Father Christmas. With the snow falling and suspicions flying, it's up to this detective. I can't say the name. That's why I keep saying this detective. To sniff out the culprit and prevent anyone else from getting murder for Christmas. I love this. So, okay, fine. The detective's name is Morticia. We're gonna call him Morty. Okay, Morty. So I love the concept of this so much because I love that it's already gonna be set in a snowy Christmas setting around the holidays, and then boom, apparently it's not Santa Claus, obviously, okay? You can't kill the real Santa Claus. He lives on forever, especially in our hearts. But no, somebody who is dressed up like Father Christmas or Santa Claus winds up, you know, dead under the Christmas tree, and this guy now has to solve what is happening. I'm just really excited. I think it has a lot of elements that sound really fun. I think it sounds like a mystery that's not gonna take itself too seriously either, but it also sounds really cozy. Love the setting. I have high hopes for this, so hopefully it's really good. The next cozy mystery that I have to recommend is by Agatha Christie, and it is Murder on the Orient Express, which is considered, I think, like a modern day classic and also an adult novel. Did you love the Polar Express as a kid? Well, then you might want to try picking up Murder on the Orient Express. It doesn't have anything to do with Santa Claus or elves or hot cocoa, but it is on a train and it does involve murder. And upon further reflection, actually, there's no correlation to this in the Polar Express. So this particular book is following Monsieur Poirot, who is a detective, and he is traveling on the Orient Express when a man is murdered in the night. Now, the train is stopped because of all of these different snowdrifts, and so Monsieur Poirot has to crack the case and figure out who the murderer is. I read this for the first time this year, and I absolutely loved the plot twists. I feel like this is one of the most original and very compelling thrillers slash mystery novels that I've read in a really long time. I'd probably consider this more of a cozy mystery, but I did feel like it had the fast-pacedness that usually goes with a thriller. Highly, highly recommend. You're totally gonna get those winter vibes from all the snow, and I just loved the murder mystery element in this book. And then the next book is going to be a repeat. So this particular book is on every single winter reads recommendations list that I ever make, ever. And in fact, I've already recommended it in this year's middle grade cozy winter recommendations. But I will not apologize. I need everyone to read this book. It's just so cozy and perfect for this time of year. And that's right, I'm recommending Greenglass House for literally the millionth time. So this book is the only middle grade in this category. The other two are adults. And this is one of the most cozy books I've ever read in my entire life. The book is following Milo. Milo lives with his two parents and they run something called a smuggler's inn, which is basically a hotel for thieves. On Christmas Eve, when Milo and his parents are not expecting any guests, a slew of mysterious strangers all come in and they all seem to be hiding something from each other. And they all seem to know each other, but they're acting like they don't. And so now Milo is determined to try to figure out what exactly they are hiding. And he's also trying to figure out, is there a mystery surrounding Greenglass House itself? The specific images that Kate Milford writes about the hot cocoa, the roaring fireplaces, the stories at night with the strangers, the snow drifts. It is so perfect to read by the fireplace. I think that this is probably my #1 recommendation from this particular category. If you have not read it, could not recommend it more. Okay, next let's go ahead and move on to the cheesy Hallmark romance section. There's just something about Christmas and romance that kind of go together and make me feel super, super cozy and also make me believe in love. I completely blame the movie Serendipity. But anyways, these are the 3 books that I would recommend this year if you are in the mood for a cheesy Hallmark-esque type Christmas romance. The first one is brand new. I haven't actually picked it up, but I needed to include it because it sounds perfect, and that is Blame It on the Mistletoe by Beth Garddo. This particular book basically sounds verbatim what The Holiday is. So if you are like me and you are obsessed with Cameron Diaz and Kate Winslet and Jack Black and Jude Law, all in that movie, you might want to pick this up because it sounds literally like an exact dupe. So this particular story is following Elle, and Elle is a media influencer. I don't know exactly what that means. I don't know if that means like social media or if she's like maybe in the movies or something, but she really wants to get away from everything that's going on around her because I think she's just broken up with her boyfriend. And so she's trying to find a British fan specifically to swap houses with her for the holiday. And so she decides to swap places, and while she swaps places with her British fan, she ends up falling in love with the British fan's twin brother. So literally verbatim The Holiday. And so we're following Elle's perspective as well as Holly's perspective. Holly is the British girl who decides to go to America to swap places with Elle. I think it's going to be super, super cute, and I think this would be perfect if you want to pair it with the movie The Holiday, which by the way is absolutely the perfect movie to watch by a crackling fire as well. Next up is a book that was sent to me by Book of the Month, and it is called The Holiday Swap, and this is by Maggie Knox. Now I've heard that this is also for fans of The Holiday, but to be honest, this more reminds me of like The Parent Trap meets Mistletoe. I mean, it kind of sounds like a winning combination. I mean, who doesn't love The Parent Trap, you know? So this book is following Charlie and Cass, who are twin sisters. Their lives aren't exactly going the way they pictured them. Cass actually has just failed, I think like something involving a reality television show where she is baking. And then also Charlie is really disappointed with how her bakery is going in the small hometown that they are from. And so the twins decide to switch places actually. And while they are there, I think they end up both falling in love with different people. I'm really excited about this one because this also combines one of my very favorite elements that makes the book cozy, and that is baking. I love that this is going to be a romance with lots and lots of baking. I love like the cozy, quaint vibes that we're getting from this little bakery shop. I think it's going to be really cute, and I'm really excited to pick this one up. And then next up, this is a book that I actually read last Christmas and I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. It's one of my favorite romances that I've ever read, and that is by Christina Lauren, and it is in A Holidays. This is a book that is for fans of people who loved Groundhog Day with Bill Murray. Classic, but also who love Serendipity, which, I mean, if you are team Serendipity for your holiday Hallmark romance thing, you and I should be best friends, because that's like one of my favorite movies ever. But the reason I say those two specific titles is because this is about a character named Malin, who is going to see her family for Christmas, and she keeps repeating the exact same vacation with her family again and again and again until she can, quotation marks, get it right. So basically it's about a girl who goes back and she has had a huge crush on her childhood best friend since she was like a little girl, but she never thought that she had like a shot with him. And they all stay in this like little holiday house together. And it's really, really cute because you get a lot of like cozy Christmas vibes, a lot of family vibes, a lot of friendship vibes in here. But she's always been too shy to make a move on this guy. This is the year that Santa Claus is like, no, girl, you are gonna live this day again and again and again until you actually do everything that you're supposed to do. Highly recommended because I feel like the tension in this was really, really well done. I feel like the character development was really, really well done. And also I feel like this is one of the best rom-com romances. Like some romances are just steamy, which, you know, listen, like I'm not complaining about that, okay? But I love it when romance can be a little bit funny as well. And this is just hilarious. It was funny, it was cute, it was quirky, it was charming. I recommend it. Okie dokie, now let's go on to atmospheric fantasies. The first one is The Girl Who Sailed the Stars, and this is by Matilda Woods. This is a book that I've just recently read, and if you would like to see like my play-by-play thoughts on it, you can check out the vlog, I can link it. This book is following our main character Uwana, and Uwana wants to be the captain of her own ship. Girls don't really sail. It's considered that like women on ships are not very lucky, and also her dad is a total jerk. He is 100% on the naughty list. And so he really neglects Uwana, and he isn't like really there for her, but she wants to prove that she can be really, really useful. And so she decides to sneak aboard his ship when they go out to catch a whale. In this particular book, the town where they live is very, very atmospheric. The town actually survives off of fish and also whale. And so it's kind of like crucial to the story because that's how these people are living and eating. But the town itself is also one of the coolest towns I've ever read because every single building is made out of sunken ships. There's a lot of whimsy in this particular book. Anyways, this is about Uwana's journey on her father's ship as she is trying to prove that she can be useful. Their entire journey is surrounded by glaciers and icicles. There's snow everywhere. It's very, very windy and cold where they are living, and there are all of these little bits of magic woven throughout the entirety of the book that makes you feel so cold, so cozy. It makes you kind of believe that anything is possible. I absolutely loved the atmosphere of this, and I could not recommend it more. Next up is the only book on this particular list that I have not read, but I think it'll be perfect for this time of year, and that is A Winter's Promise, and this is by Christelle Dabos. This book is following Ophelia, and Ophelia is being married off. It's kind of like a marriage of convenience, I think. She's kind of being used as a political pawn. Although I have heard that the relationship between Ophelia and her husband actually is a little bit of like a enemies to lovers. So I think that that's going to be a really, really interesting dynamic to read about. But this entire thing apparently takes place in the winter, in the cold, and Ophelia has a very, very specific magical ability that she can walk in and out of different mirrors. I don't know to what capacity, but I'm getting a lot of Spinning Silver vibes from Naomi Novik. So if you really, really enjoyed that book, you might actually really, really enjoy this particular book. I didn't include that book on this list because I've already talked about it in several other winter recommendations videos, and I try to keep my winter recommendation videos as like fresh as possible, but I'm excited to learn more about the magic system, and I love that we're going to have like an enemies to lovers, have to get married kind of a trope. I think it'll be really, really fun. The next book is a classic winter fantasy, highly, highly recommended, and that is Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. And this particular book is going to be a YA fantasy. The last one was YA as well. This is a book for people who love found families. I love found families. I love them so much. Are you kidding me? I was that girl in school who had a best friend and immediately was like, I'm gonna get this bitch one of those like half little lockets, you know? BFF for life. That's just who I am as a person. And so whenever I read a book about a found family, whenever I read a book about a group of misfits who come together, become best friends, and platonically fall in love with each other, it just immediately owns my entire heart. And so that's right. This book owns my entire heart, which is great because some of those girls I gave those friendship bracelets and necklaces to, they were we're not the one. Shady third graders, you know? Honestly, playground politics, a whole other level of petty. Anyways, this book is following different perspectives. Highly recommend the audiobook, by the way, if you are pairing this, because it's a full cast, and I just feel like it was so incredibly well done. But we are following 6 different perspectives, and essentially these 6 people live in a very, very cold, kind of reminiscent to Russia location where there is some magic, and Kaz, who is the leader of the 6 of them, decides to do an ultimate heist when he makes a deal, and he tells all of them that he will cut them a portion of the money from this deal. All of them have to do this impossible heist. It's really, really fantastic. Lots of snowy vibes, lots of cold vibes, lots and lots of great romances in this book. Not only do we get those incredible bestie forever vibes, we also get quite a few romances that are absolutely impossible not to ship. And then the final book for this particular category is Girls Made of Snow and Glass, and this is by Melissa Bashardust. This is by Melissa. Girls Made of Snow and Glass is a fairy tale retelling of Snow White, and it's really, really well done in my opinion because there's not really a traditional villain. The stepmother actually is not the bad guy, and she and Snow White actually end up being friends. There's a lot of things that happen into this, but I don't really want to get into the plot too much. All you need to know is that it is a Snow White retelling, all takes place in the snow, and there is a sapphic romance in here, although that's a really, really small part of this book. But I really enjoyed it, and I feel like fairy tale retellings are fantastic for this time of year, especially when they take place in the cold. And finally, we have our last category, which are going to be classics for Christmas. Let's go ahead and start with the first one, which is the only one on here that I have not read, and that is Little Women, and this is by Louise May Alcott. This is about 4 different sisters and their relationship and their journey throughout the years. And it opens up around, I think, Christmas Day, when they are really, really sad that Christmas won't be the same because their father is at war. The entirety of the book is really exploring their bonds together and their love. And I know that there are several key scenes involving snow and ice skating, wintertime, roaring fireplaces, beautiful parties, and of course, Christmas Day. But it just sounds really, really perfect to read around the fire, so maybe I will pick it up this year by my fire. The next book is a book that I'm currently in the middle of, and when I say in the middle of, I mean I've read 200 pages, so I'm not in the middle of it because it's very long. But that is Anna Karenina, and this is by Leo Tolstoy. This is such a fun book to read around this time of year because of the snowy winter vibes. So this is an adult Russian classic, and also I would personally categorize this as a romance. I don't think you're supposed to. Leo Tolstoy has gone on record as saying that this is supposed to be a tragic story showing the repercussions of what happens when you have affairs. It's a bleak story, but I do really, really love the chemistry between Anna Karenina and the Russian soldier whose name I literally always freaking forget. I don't know. But this book is following Anna Karenina, and she is a married woman who has a child, and she goes to visit her brother when he is having marriage problems himself, and she's trying to kind of help him out. While she goes to visit her brother, she meets this dashing Russian soldier, and it's like they just have this instant spark of chemistry. And the book itself is following the repercussions of them falling in love, even though they both kind of try not to. Well, okay, to be fair, Anna is trying not to. The Russian soldier is like, you know what? No, I like you, so let's just do this. But I really, really love reading this right now because the vibes are so perfect for this time of year, and I have personally been enjoying reading this by my own fireplace. Highly, highly recommend picking it up, especially if you are interested in reading some classics by the fire. And finally, the last book that I would like to recommend, is probably not going to be a surprise, and in fact, I'm sure some of you are rolling your eyes because it is not original at all. But listen, I had to recommend it, okay? 'Tis the Season for A Christmas Carol by Charles frickin' Dickens. So of course, this is the classic about Scrooge, who does not believe in the spirit of Christmas, and he has become kind of obsessed with finances and he treats people very, very poorly. And it's about the night before Christmas when he is visited by 3 strange spirits plus Marley, so 4, I guess. And his perspective is completely changed by the ghosts of Christmas, past, present, and future. If you've never read the book, highly recommend it. I do feel like it's very accessible, especially for Dickens. I have tried reading other Dickens stories. It's hard, okay? The man was smart and he used a lot of big words. But I do feel like this is super, super accessible, very, very cozy, and perfect for this time of year, especially if you're a fan of like the movies A Christmas Carol. I love that movie. It's actually my dad's favorite. There's a very specific version that's his favorite and I always forget it. It's like the black and white one. But I just love all Christmas Carol retelling. Okay, probably my favorite one though is the Muppets because come on. It's the freaking Muppets, you know? But anyways, highly recommend this book. I think it will be the perfect cozy read for this winter, especially if you are cuddled up by a fireplace. Yeah, and so that's that one. But I think that is it as far as all of the wintry books that I am recommending this year, you guys. If you have any recommendations for me, please let me know down below in the comments. I absolutely love adding all of your recommendations to my Goodreads. And also the emoji for today is going to be, of course, the fire, because these reads are fire, but also because the theme of this video is a fireplace, so, okay. I think that's it for now though, book lovers, so until next time you guys, keep your head in the clouds and your heart in a book, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye!
Hey, Santa, the city is covered in snow tonight. Where did my love